So you probably never saw the university library that empty before. Well, usually when it's open you can enter it from the front door, just go straight ahead, and here behind the black curtains there's the Data Visualization Lab, which is temporary in use. Here's Uwe, and we are now going to explore what is behind the curtain. For example, a computer, which is...
yeah, this is the workstation where the software runs that drives the 3D screen. The 3D screen is actually a back projection screen, so you can walk up to the screen and don't cast any shadow. The projector is behind the screen, and on top of the screen you see two cameras. One is up here, and one on the right hand side. Those two cameras actually recognize the position of these glasses. These are regular 3D glasses as you would have them in a 3D movie theater, except for these markers. The markers allow the camera system to recognize the position and orientation of these glasses, as well as our 3D mouse, which is basically just a normal PowerPoint presenter, but also equipped with these spherical markers. And so once we have the 3D position of our glasses and our hand, we can draw the correct perspective for the viewer wearing these glasses. And I will show you now how that actually works in reality. So in order to load a data set, you can navigate to the appropriate directory on the workstation. Here we placed everything in the data directory under Vienna and Jacek. And here, for instance, you find 3 projects of last semester, and to open one of these you can go into that directory, and here you would find a WRL or X3DV file. This has been exported from 3D Studio, and you can drag this file over to the open cover icon on the desktop, and that's all you need to do. Then the file is loaded. Error messages would actually be displayed here in that black window that opens up, but this file should not contain any errors, and well, it does. That's a good example. You see that we have missing texture files. Some of the textures in that file are not available on this computer, so you always have to make sure that all the textures which are part of your 3D Studio file also have been copied to that workstation. Now the project has been loaded and is visible on the screen. I will put on my glasses, and by moving in front of the screen I can, for instance, go down and look up and see the top of the building. If I go down and if I stand up again, I see this from the actual perspective, from my normal viewing height. If we go down onto the floor, we will actually walk on that floor, so the floor height is always correct. Here you see that entrance of the building. We can also walk upstairs by just navigating towards the stairs, and you automatically walk up any step which is smaller than about 30 centimeters by default. Standing up on the balcony here, you see the handrail has the correct height. I can virtually grab it, and I can also lean over the handrail and look down. That works. Or I can look underneath the handrail like if I would be standing in that physical environment. Navigating through the virtual model works in various different ways. So here you have a 3D menu. You can grab the menu and place it anywhere in your 3D environment. And you can click any of the menus with the left mouse button. What I will do first is I will turn off the 3D mode, the stereo separation, so that we have a nicer image in our 2D camera picture that we're recording today. Now in the menu you also find a navigation submenu. Here you can select different navigation modes. For instance, the fly mode. Your hand icon will switch to a little airplane, and navigation now works as follows. If you press and hold the left mouse button, you do not move at all, but once you move forward your hand, you will actually fly forward. The further you move your hand, the faster you will get. So we are now flying out of the building. If you move your hand upwards, you will fly upwards. And if you move your hand down, so we're on top of the TU building right now, right? If you move your hand downwards, you will be flying downwards. And you can also reorient yourself. If you press and hold the left mouse button and then turn your hand to the right, you will actually turn right. And yeah, this way you can navigate through this virtual world in 6 degrees of freedom, and you can also do a roll and do some acrobatic flights through this building. I'm turning around and landing behind the building, and now I will switch to walk mode, which is much easier than flying, but it works very similar. So the walk mode is indicated by 2 little shoes on your hand, and you will stick to the ground. If you press and hold your hand and move your hand forward, you will walk forward, and the further you move your hand forward, the faster you will get into that, you will walk into that direction. Again, if you move back with your hand to the position where you started, you will get slower and finally stop. And if you turn your hand left or right, you will also turn left or right. And this way you can safely navigate through your virtual world. Let's walk through the building a little. Here we've got a nice buffet with some orange juice, glasses, some nice petit four, some bread and and fruit. Very nice, mouth-watering. I hope you will stick with us and not go and get something to eat immediately. So there's another navigation mode, which is called the drive mode. It's more like a hover mode. It's very similar to the fly mode. You can fly upwards and downwards, and you can turn left and right, but orientations are limited to these orientations around the axis. Not like with the fly mode where you have 6 degrees of freedom. Here you are restricted and you will always stay straight. So the last, topmost navigation mode is the Move World mode. I will show you this in a model setup. So in the main menu you see a View All button. If you click this, your model will be scaled down to fit the screen. And here you can now see how the Move World navigation works. With this, you can grab a virtual object and move it by moving your hand. So you can move it up and down, left and right. You can turn it upside down as if you would have grabbed a real physical model of this project.
But you're clicking the left mouse button and holding the left mouse button, no?
Yeah. So all the navigation modes, once you select a navigation mode or once you select anything from the menu, this is mapped to the left mouse button. So everything is always activated with the left mouse button.
And what is the drive speed going to change if I use the drive speed?
Let's go back to one of the to a scale 1-to-1 view. So the question was, what is the driving speed for? The drive speed slider. Yes, you can increase the drive speed, and this will make your navigations faster. So now it's very easy to walk quickly along the building. We're actually walking at a pace faster than a real walking space, and we can navigate very quickly through a city. Let's show that in flight mode. So if we fly up, turn around, you see a whole city quarter, and we can quickly fly through this area with high speed. If you turn down the speed to a normal walking speed, you can only walk as quick as a normal person would walk. Now, there's a scale button in the menu which allows you to scale this object to an arbitrary scale. This works as follows. If you press and hold the left mouse button and move your hand left, the whole world is getting smaller. And if you move your hand to the right, your world is getting larger. Okay? And there are 3 other buttons on this presenter. It's hard to see even in real time, but there are 2 buttons, left and right,
Smaller ones.
The forward and
Forward.
and backward button of your PowerPoint presenter. That's the big buttons. And we learned that the left button is for everything you select from the menu, while the right button allows you to always grab the object and move it around. So it's the same interaction as Move World, no matter what you selected as navigation mode. There are 2 small buttons below the left and right buttons. The right small button is always a drive mode, where you can fly around in the building or in your world. And the left small button allows you to show and hide the menu. Okay. So this was a quick introduction to navigation modes, and it should allow you to safely navigate through your 3D virtual world. Now we want to load one of your current projects. To do that, we need to close this application, and there are several ways how to do that. You can either select the Quit button here from the File menu. Under File, there's a Quit button, and this will terminate the screen. Or you can press the Q button on your keyboard. That's another shortcut that is available. Now we want to load one of your current projects, the train wagon, and therefore we navigate to your current directory, and here in the out subdirectory I placed our wagon.wrl. Again, you can drag this over to the open cover icon and load the train. Here you see no error messages, so all textures are loaded. Everything looks fine. And in front of us we have the train that we modeled before.
In stereoscopic mode, that's why you can't see it clearly. But Uwe is now changing, I guess, to 2D, so without stereo separation.
Okay.
And
so let's approach the train, and you will see how the doors open.
Oh yeah, cool.
And now let's try to jump into the train. Yeah. And to your right, you see the sliding door that we animated. Well, actually, I moved out. And now you see, whenever I approach the screen, I move into the area of that proximity sensor. And if I move back out of that area of the proximity sensor, the door closes.
Like in reality.
Yep. Now, let's move forward and walk through the train. Everything is scale 1 to 1. You see the luggage carrying on top of the chairs, and that's about the height that it actually was in those old wagons. Let's sit down on one of these. And now we can enjoy a nice train ride.
Have a good trip, Uwe.
Thank you. Goodbye.
Bye.